Where Do the Beasts Sleep is the first quote-unquote major story mission, so it's got some unusual requirements, like you can't leave the mission area on land and a few other things. Other than that, though, just going to bring some generic stuff. I'm only going to end up holding up one guy anyway, so really none of this stuff is actually that important.
Deploying.
We're going to start in the only place that they allow you to start. I mean, technically, if you use the helicopter, you can start in the assault zone of the main objective fort, I think, but that's not a good idea for various reasons. So instead, we'll just start halfway, honestly, minus the helicopter ride. And we will ride D-Horse to the mountain relay base, but we're not going to actually do anything there. You can rescue the Amid fighter, and find out the location of the target, but of course the location of the target never changes. We know where it is. It's in Smasei Fort, so we just have to go get it. But we are a long way from there. As you can see, we're, like, start the mission 2,000 meters away from it, so we have to ride to the mountain relay base here first. There's only two guys on this side, so I should be able to mark immediately. Go ahead and get one of them to see me, and then just kind of roll out of the way, so that he'll go over and investigate where I was. As long as they don't maintain sight on you, which is kind of hard to tell because the game will often flash the sight marker even if they can't act, if they're not actually actively aware of your position. But by moving him like that, he'll turn around and go away for a minute, which is all I need to sneak over here, and for the first time actually use a cardboard box as transportation, and just mail myself to the fort, which is somehow much faster than walking.
Smasei Fort.
Once we arrive, I'm just going to mark some people just so that I'm aware of where they are. There shouldn't be anyone who's directly in my way, but just to be on the safe side. Now, when you're in the box, unless you move the box, then the direction you dive out of is going to be wherever it decides to face you, in which case it would have had me diving out into the metal bars, which wouldn't have been very helpful at all, so I had to turn around. And if you turn around while you're in scope mode, the binocular mode, it seems that enemies are not as attracted to the fact that the cardboard box is moving, as opposed to if you actually try to physically move to turn around. Plus, the box does not handle tightly. It has to rotate, and the way that you crouch walk when you're in the box, or crawl when you're in the box, can be kind of annoying. So instead I'll just turn it in the binoculars and dive out of the box because I don't need it anymore, and roll all the way up here to the fort. Now there aren't that many enemies in here, and I could have just incapacitated them all, but for whatever reason I decided I would try to avoid them, except for one. This guy, he stares at those boxes into the fort, and then he'll walk over where he is now over to one of the side areas, and he goes back and forth between those two, so as long as we get past him while he's facing to the left, we should be fine, which we have plenty of time for that. He'll stay and stare at nothing over there for a good while. There's two more guys up here. One guy is almost directly above me. I can't see him because I didn't use Nocticyan in here, but he is like literally right there. And the other guy is just up ahead and through the arch on the left. He never leaves the area where the arch is, so unless he has a conversation with the guy above me, who will occasionally wander in there, although he may not at this time of day, unless they have a conversation, he'll never be facing in a direction where he can see me. Okay, there's the guy. And he is right above me, but because of my camo and just being prone and very close to this ledge, he's not seeing me. I am going into the stealth mode where you kind of play dead. That reduces the detection range again, although I think if he were on level ground with me, he would have spotted me for sure. So this guy will come over here and look this way, then he'll walk to the left and go back up the slope a little bit to look the other way. It's very easy to make noise because noise does carry vertically, and he's not as high above you as you might think, so if you run or something like that, there's pretty good chance that he is going to hear it and turn that direction, and then he can look down and see you pretty much anywhere on that ramp approach. He's really the only problem, though. And there's probably another way to do this. I can't remember all the access points and cracks in the wall. I could only see one on the map, but I'm pretty sure there are other ways to get to where we're going. Fortunately, he allows himself to be held up, so that takes care of that. I also use the opportunity to mark his friend, although he's not close enough to any other soldiers for it to matter, and that guy doesn't matter either. On my way up, I know there's a guy across the way, although he's not looking out of that exit, so we're good. He's also never going to be in a position where he's going to bother us, because we're going to be taking a different route out. Because there are more ways to get out of this tunnel complex than there are to get in. And there's a very convenient one that leads right to where you need to go.
Clouds approaching.
So climbing up here, there are 3 guys in this tunnel, but only 1 guy over there who's actually guarding the way. Sometimes he'll be standing at that door and looking out, which can make it very difficult to get past him. You can distract him or something easily, but still. But in this case, he's in the building, and that's perfect. We don't need to worry about him. Just roll past him, and once we're fairly confident, we could get up and crawl, but I think I'm going to just keep staying low, even though it's not really necessary. I could be crouch walking at this point, no one can see me.
Complete.
There's 2 guys down here at the very bottom. This is an area where, for example, camo might be more interesting if it weren't just kind of zone-based, because there's a pool of water there where maybe having water camo would actually be more useful than sand or rock camo, and likewise there's a lot of green areas over here, but the game doesn't really count that, so my Tiger Stripe is as good here as it is anywhere. That guy caught a glimpse of me, so I'm rolling away. Rolling away is a lot better than trying to get up, because getting up removes the bonus from being prone, which is a huge bonus to your visibility. So instead, rolling away is probably the fastest way to guarantee that somebody can do that. Rolling is almost as fast, I think, as standing up and running, not sprinting, but standing up and running around. So it's pretty fast, and it keeps your profile low. So it looks ridiculous, but it's very well known as a technique, especially in FOVs and things like that, where you need to get past somebody quickly, but you absolutely cannot be seen. So the camo helps, but staying low is still important. Now, for some reason, this guy should have heard the knocks, because I know that the knocks are like a sphere, but for whatever reason, he wasn't sensitive to it within... I think it might be because in these early missions, the enemy is programmed to have, like, worse AI or something. So the fact that he doesn't hear the knock within 15 meters, that could be because more sensitive guards hear it from farther away, which is actually an advantage, but I guess his hearing is just bad. This guy also partially saw me, but again, I'm already rolling by the time he sees me, so I'm going to be way far away from where I need to go. And I accidentally get stuck here where I'm trying to turn around as I'm crawling, and I don't want to stand up, because if I stand up, there's a pretty good chance that guy's going to see me. But crawling backwards is annoying, so... Anyway, we are not going to be using the Honeybee. We're going to be following Miller's instructions to retrieve it with all its ammunition intact, which means that as soon as we get out of the cave here, we're going to have to deal with the Skulls, whose appearance would be a surprise if the credits for every single mission that had the Skulls in them did not mention that they were guest starring the Skulls Parasite unit, so shock of shocks, the Skulls are in this one. And you should, when you leave the fort, be immediately thrust into the mist and into a cutscene or two where you ultimately end up in the exact same place no matter where you were, directly confronting the Skulls, which is annoying. There's no way to stealth them, like there is in Code Talker or something. But Skulls cannot spot you, nor can Parasite soldiers or puppet soldiers that occur when the Skulls show up. So we cannot actually be spotted at this point, even if we're running at full tilt. The only thing I'm trying to do now is avoid taking hits from the Skulls, which is difficult because they're faster than you, they can teleport around, and they have submachine guns, which makes it very difficult. So what I'm trying to do is I'm taking a route that attempts to break line of sight with them as constantly as possible, to provide cover, even those barbed wire fences are cover of a sort, and to reach a checkpoint as quickly as possible, because as soon as you see, that guy almost shot me, but as soon as you reach one of the checkpoints out of the fort, these skulls leave. So you're able to just double back.
It looks like they're gone.
They'll call you a chopper, but again, because the skulls are gone, there's no need to actually go all the way out there to where they're calling the chopper. Since it was already called, no sense in wasting it, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it back into the fort, because with all the skulls gone, any puppet soldiers that were nearby are automatically stunned for a few minutes, and I'm going to kidnap a few of them, just because they get service medals. If they're puppet soldiers, you get one of the rescue medals for it. I guess they're considered to be rescued when they're puppets. So I'll just grab 2 or 3 guys and load them into the chopper. I did say no Fultoning, but I didn't say I couldn't kidnap anybody. I just don't usually need to or want to because of time, but I'm here waiting on people anyway, so we might as well.
Get in. Time to go.
The reason why I didn't want to take hits is, first of all, I don't like getting all bloody and stuff, but also you lose a small number of points for every hit you take, and the skulls can easily hit you 5 or 6 times, even if you're running at full tilt. But with a good weaving pattern, some cover, and a decent amount of luck, they won't hit you at all. So I haven't taken any hits, which will avoid losing any points on the score. The points are inconsequential, I just like the fact that I didn't get hit. Before, I'd been trying to use the left route, which seems like it's quicker to get out, but it actually hits the checkpoint later, so you will generally get hit if you go that way.
The one and only.